Wesley's friend came over to me and was like, Wesley's shower still, not just isn't, but still isn't working, because his friend had stayed at her house multiple other times. Wesley never told us for the 2 years we lived in this place, it had never had hot water. Not even once. Yeah. It wasn't even just like lukewarm. We're talking, it was freezing water. She had never had it, but she never wanted to burden us with it because she didn't think it was a big deal. And so she just dealt with it for 2 years.
But now that's like, I can only shower in cold showers. And it's better for you, so I benefited from it. That's why I'm saying it's like, it was so, what's the point of me telling you if it's like, I'm fine.
Girl, you need to tell me those things, though.
It was fine.
Welcome to another episode of Between Us with Allison and Weslie. I'm excited because today we're actually going to talk about communication styles, which I think is going to be really fun for us to talk about because we are so different in this field. And I think when it comes to like relationships, a lot of couples talk about their communication styles. So I think it'll be really cool for us as like a mom and daughter situation to kind of talk about the way we are with each other or in life. Yeah. So there are actually, I'm going to actually read this. There are 6 major communication styles. There is assertive, aggressive, passive, passive-aggressive, empathetic, and analytical. I would like to think I'm assertive, but that's only because like I've grown in the style of communication, but that is known to be the healthiest style. Do you know what the differences are?
I've never heard of any of those.
Do you want me to kind of
I've heard of them, but I didn't know there was like 6 different ones.
Do you want me to give you kind of like a little bit of a rundown before you kind of say what you are?
Let me see.
Yeah. I mean, I could read them off to you. Here, like, I'll read them off. Okay.
Oh, well, I was a visual learner.
I'll do it quick and then I'll pass it to you. Okay, so assertive is a direct communicator, confident articulators, and respectful advocates. Aggressive is dominant, forceful persuaders, and goal-oriented challengers. Passive is harmonious, silent yielders, conflict avoiders. Passive-aggressive is sarcasm, choosing opponents, and ambiguity crafters. Empathetic is sensitive connectors, listening healers, and compassionate supporters. Analytical is fast-focused analysts, detail-oriented observers, and objective explainers. So I would say I'm assertive now, but I don't think I always was. And I think I have a hard time with my personality really just diving into one of those. I feel like I'm definitely a mixture of a couple. Because in some ways, I think I am extremely passive, but that's really bad because then it can build up in you and you can become aggressive at the end when you like let so many things go by, which was definitely my biggest problem. But it was like about 6 or 7 years ago. You know how every single year I always choose words? Right? I always choose about 10 words I'm gonna like move my life from. I really wanted to calm my energy. So I didn't want to be as reactive. So one of my words was reactive. And I think that helped me to not be so aggressive. So I would say now, just because of hard work, I've gotten to a place of being assertive where I like can have communication. Like I feel like between you and I listen to you and I can hear you and give my thoughts, or I can just let you talk sometimes. So I would like to give myself credit for that. But what are your thoughts?
I think I'm passive aggressive and analytical. I am passive until a point, I think. Like once I'm fed up, then I get very like passive aggressive.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Because we're both passive, and that's why it's like we can go a really long time without bringing anything up, and then that's where it's like, okay, like
and then
has that
like,
fuse kind of like gone over the top, and now we're just like both gonna be heated. But we never get to that heated like a lot of people get. Like I feel like we do a pretty good job at communicating it. I would say you have a little more sarcasm than I do.
Yeah, I definitely mean mine in the more like sarcastic, joking way, but then I know it comes across as like rude.
But it's just because I'm more sensitive. If I could hang with you in the sarcasm, we'd probably just go, we just end up laughing at each other probably. Yeah. But no, I'm like a little sensitive to it.
Because I also think you're the empathetic one too.
I'm definitely empathetic.
Certain people,
Yeah, no, I'm definitely empathetic as well. But I like that you said that you're analytical, because I'm not that. I think it helps you to be able to like get your message across really, really clear. Where for me, I sometimes think it's hard for me to get like facts out because I'm so emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for you, it's like almost like, not that we like argue all the time, but if we do have differences or are in like on the verge of an argument, you're able to clearly dictate how you're feeling and what's happened with facts and just really clearly and direct. I think I do struggle with that part.
Yeah. I think I'm only good at that because it could be seen as good or bad, but I take a long time to get to that point, to be able to like clearly say what I want and like say it in like a concise way. But because before that, it's like my thoughts are everywhere. Like I never want to have conversations where I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I take a much longer time. I would rather let it build up inside of me and like know how I feel entirely, which I think that's the only difference. So that's the only way I seem more analytical.
Okay, so for me, assertive, empathetic. For you, passive, aggressive, and analytical. Is that what you said?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I would say I'm like passive aggressive. Like I would say that's more me because I can't just say passive. I know I get to the aggressive point. So,
but you know, I do think for both of us, neither of us ever are just coming at each other with this like mean, aggressive energy ever. Like I don't think we ever have that in our house. And I know we've talked about this before because you've been to other people's homes, and I obviously have grown up in other people's homes and around other people. And we've seen that kind of energy. And I'm actually really proud of us because we never bring that in our home. And we get told that. Like, I get told that by friends. Like, they don't feel that from us. Like, we're not argumentative with each other. We don't just kind of nitpick at each other. And I think we do a good job of, like, kind of, like, assessing our own feelings before we ever really go anywhere across any sort of emotional bounds. We're not triggerers. Is that a thing? Is that what I would say? Like, we don't try to trigger each other. And there's some people that just try to do that.
Yeah,
like you know those personalities.
Yeah. Like, I know we've had a lot of people like this like around us, and like we tend to like kind of veer off from it. But people that feel like validated and reassurance through arguments, I don't think that we have that. We never find a need to argue unless it's like something that's really built up and we feel strongly about it.
Yeah.
Because I've never grown up in an environment like that. I don't understand what the point is to constantly be, you know, arguing. But I know that like for some people it's comforting.
It's almost like a clutch, right? Because that's what they know, that's where they feel safe. And I think for any personality, because I also can't say it's right or wrong. Like that's just not us.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't like that. But like if that's how other families work or other dynamics work, if they're just like more like let's hash it out all the time and that works for them, that's cool. Yeah. But I just think for our energies it doesn't work that way. But we're all patient with it. And it seems to work for us to not nitpick and all that.
And I think that in a lot of ways, those are communication styles. But what is it when you're like, I'm more avoidant than you?
There's avoidant and anxious styles. I'm definitely an avoidant. I don't like to have arguments, so I try to push them away for as long as I can. But I've learned that that's also really dangerous because then that's when you have like reactive energy and you like kind of peak and then all of a sudden like everything pops up. Yeah. So I try to really make sure I don't get myself to that point and just kind of slowly come up with a conversation, think about it for a long time. And what we like, you know, for me, what I try to do is also make sure I analyze everything from everyone's situation. Like, am I really upset about this? Or am I actually upset about something completely beside the person and am I just taking it out on them? Right? So I try to do a good job of not getting to that point, but like I would prefer to not have problems with people and I'd prefer to not say the wrong thing that I can't take back. So that's where that avoidance in me comes. You know, because I think also people take it wrong. Sometimes people take the avoidance as like, I don't care, right? And it's like, it's never that. For me, it's I don't want to either burden you with my problems. I haven't figured out what I'm actually upset about yet. So I don't feel right having an argument with someone or saying something out of line or saying something wrong if I can just work it out by myself. And I find for my personality, I'm almost always able to work it out for myself.
Yeah, I think the same.
Yeah.
For me, like I really do try to handle all my emotions on my own. And what I've learned through so much therapy, I need help like categorizing like my emotions and stuff like that. So I've like put it into like 3 different boxes is what my therapist likes to say.
Ooh, we love that. Let's hear the 3 different boxes, Weslie.
It's just like contemplating and like controlling your emotions with your mind, your heart, and your gut, more like your soul. And I think that comparatively between the 2 of us, I act more with my like head, and I try to like withhold all my emotions and not really disconnect everything from my heart, which kind of makes me seem like shallow and old sometimes. And you're very different in that way. Whenever you have a conversation, it comes from your heart. You're always using your emotions to tell more of a story than me. And so I think in that way, like, we're very different. And I don't think it leads us to butt heads, but it's like our conversations come from a very different place.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree with that, because also I feel like why I say I'm going to avoid it is because I'm feeling so much that, like, I don't want to approach you about something because I might just be feeling something that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd rather work it out by myself instead of burdening you with all these emotions and thoughts that I'm having, or really what's I'm feeling in my heart, when really it's a problem I'm just having with myself.
Yeah.
Right? So that's usually why I'm like, okay, let me just get into my thoughts. Let me get into my heart. Let me get into my, and just really like self-analyze it before I ever even try to burden you with it. But that's a huge thing with also, which is interesting what you were saying about my heart, is because another thing with being an avoidant is I don't want to burden people with my problems, right? So I don't like people to feel like I'm ever complaining to them, or I'm bickering, or I'm nitpicking. Even stuff from like the world, I don't ever really bring up, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but like I don't usually bring up like, oh, I got cut off on the road today, or this person wrote me this and it really hurt my feelings. I don't really bring things like that up to people because I don't really find it to be important to have to put that on someone else. I just kind of work it out myself. And then I think by doing that with small things, it also helps me to be able to do that with big things, that I kind of feel like it keeps me in a better, calmer state. But again, like what you're saying though, how people find you to be a little bit cold in your mind, because there's definitely times I feel a little bit of coldness from you, but I know you really well. So I know that's not what you're trying to give. I think people like don't hear a lot of my words. So if I'm going through a lot, or if I'm having a really emotional time, if I'm burdened with things, I kind of go quiet from people because I'm going to fix it first. Like I want to get myself and my heart into a place where I feel like it can bring that love and light to other people again.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not hearing from my friend. I'm not, what is she up to? Does she not care about me anymore? Is she not thinking about me? Does she not love me anymore? When really it's like, I love everyone so much until I've figured my heart out. I don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
And so I think like it's interesting that we're like kind of opposites, but also so similar in that sense. Because from you on that regard, there are times I feel like because I don't hear from your heart more, I'm like, are we okay?
You were talking about how you fear a burden to some people. I feel like that's like kind of like a two-edged sword, because every time I think about like feeling like a burden, I'm just like, I think about when I was showering for 3 years in a cold shower.
Oh my God.
It's just like everything that's insignificant, I feel like if I brought that up, it'd be a burden. But if I feel strongly about it, then I'll bring it up. And like whether they take it the wrong way and they feel like, it's this thing again, I know that I felt the need enough to bring it up for it to not be like, I'm just saying this, like I'm talking too much, they don't need to hear this from me. Because I generally am a quiet person. I'm not going to say things unless I feel the need to. So I think in that way, like I really justify, if I'm coming to you about an emotion that I feel, it's because I feel it deeply.
Yeah.
And so, but when it's things like the shower, I'm just like, it doesn't matter, I'll deal with it, I'll be fine. But if I brought it up, I'd be like, it's just like I'm wasting her money, like this is stupid.
Can we tell this story? So we had bought a home and moved in. It was this beautiful home, and I thought everything was working so wonderfully.
It was a new build, too.
It was a new build, which can have its own kinks. You sometimes find out things along the road of like things that aren't working properly. As we've been living in this house, Wesley has a friend come into town to stay with us who comes all the time.
After 2 years.
Yeah, we lived in this home for like 2 years. And again, we're always bragging about how amazing this home is. We're so, we feel so grateful for it, and it's beautiful, and everyone always loves coming to stay with us. One of Wesley's friends comes to stay with us, and she stayed actually a couple times before. But again, Wesley's personality, Wesley's friend came over to me and was like, Wesley's shower still not just isn't, but still isn't working, because his friend had stayed at our house multiple other times. Wesley never told us for the 2 years we lived in this place, it had never had hot water. Not even once. Yeah. It wasn't even just like lukewarm. We're talking, it was freezing water. She had never had it, but she never wanted to burden us with it because she didn't think it was a big deal. And so she just dealt with it for 2 years.
But now that's like, I can only shower in cold showers. And it's better for you, so I benefited from it. That's why I'm saying it's like, it was so what's the point of me telling you if it's like, I'm fine.
Girl, you need to tell me those things, though.
It was fine.
Okay, so we're all human, and I have to admit, I don't always eat healthy. In fact, I find it really, really hard to eat enough in a day, let alone healthy choices. Like, I find that I'm always eating sugar, I'm always having candy, but it's not the right kind of sugar. I know that you're supposed to have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, and for me, that just has not been happening. That is why I love to have a glass of my Field of Greens daily, because it is so helpful with my really busy schedule, running around being a mom all day. It's just the thing that I know I can count on. Each fruit and vegetable was doctor selected for a specific health benefit. There's a heart health group, lungs and kidney groups, metabolism, and even healthy weight. Only Field of Greens makes you do this better health promise. Your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back. So make sure you guys head over to fieldofgreens.com and you guys can use the code between us to get 20% off your first order.
Have you guys ever felt overwhelmed, exhausted, or just distant from your partner? Well, we have a solution for you. There's an app and it's called Paired. And it's an app that is helpful for couples who want to strengthen their bonds and relationships with someone that they love and someone that they want to connect with more. It doesn't even have to just be a partner. It could be a loved one. It could be a sibling. It could be a daughter. It could be a brother. It could be whatever you need it to be, but it's here to strengthen those bonds. What the app does is it gives you options of starting conversation, whether the conversations are fun and lively or they're deep and they're hard conversations that need to be had about money and finances or relationship help. Whatever it is that you need, this app is here to help you. Head over to pair.com-between us to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off if you sign up for a subscription. So again, that's PAIRED.com/between us and sign up today.
It was funny the way that it all happened and the way you found out, because it was like my friend that was like super like, she's very assertive and like I'm not gonna keep showering in cold water, and it was just really funny.
Well, where do you think that stems from? Like, were you always this way, or do you think there was a time or something that happened to you, or an observation of other people, or what kind of caused you to more or less just take those things on for yourself?
I don't really know. The only thing that I can even like kind of put together with it is just growing up in the convention world, and like me just being like, everything that happens, like there'd be like you guys would be teaching. It's like I'm not gonna go out of my way and like bother you guys while you're teaching or while you're working, and just seeing like you guys being so busy all the time. I'm like, why would I even bring this up? Like, it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Did I ever make you feel that way?
No,
like, and I'm not gonna be like emotional about it, but like, did you like? Did I ever like give you that thought?
I loved growing up and going to conventions and like being busy every weekend and being able to see you guys work. But it also made me be like, they have so much going on. Like, why would I just continue to put my little like more tasks for you?
So it kind of, well, I don't ever want you to like feel like you can't come to those things, because those are things that are easy fixes and stuff like that. Yeah. So I do think you've been different though. Yeah. I still think you find it hard to do those things, but you've definitely gotten better and like learned how to communicate it.
Now it's in a different way. There are some times that like, if you're away, that I'll just be like, today, for example, we are using gift cards and the toothbrushes and deodorant and whatever. Usually I'll just like wait for a long time, and then like I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to get it myself. Like, I don't want to ask my mom to do it, so I'm just going to use my money. I'm going to buy it. Yeah. And I do that about a lot, but it's just like, I don't know. And then you get bothered. My gas was empty, and you're like, why don't you just tell me? I'm like, because I can get it. I'll figure it out. Like, I don't know.
It's like parts of me do love that about you, because you are, first off, one of the most frugal people ever. I love that. You're always really conscious about asking for things. Like, even even the times I take you to go shopping, not even just like it could be just for like school shopping. It could be for a holiday. It could be for even your birthday. And you're like, Mom, I really don't need that. And I think it's such a beautiful quality about you that like you really pay attention to the cost of things, and you're really thoughtful in like when you ask me. But also there are times for you to learn that if things are necessary, it's okay, because I got you.
Yeah.
Like, I've got you, girl.
No, but don't get me wrong, like,
care of.
Don't get me wrong, like, if it's a necessity and I'm literally broke, like, I'll ask. But I have to be at that point to ask. So
there is going to be a time that it will be interesting to see what happens, because I think right now, being a mom of 3, I've gotten obviously a lot better about preparing and thinking about those things before they happen. Like, oh, does Weslie have gas? Does she have money for like lunches? Which the school lunches is a thing, but other kind of like loose cash, I've got you. But then I think of like the other kids, like I'm always ordering like new, like it's just like the necessities that they need, right? I don't
like
need to go through a whole list. So I always just come to you. But when you're going off to college, it is going to be real interesting to see if you're like learning that you have to ask in advance for those things, or how to take care of those things before all of a sudden you're out.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a learning curve for you, like it is for anyone. Yeah. Because right now it's like, I want to say it's because you're so independent, but also I think you've never maybe had to take that role on yourself yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of both parties playing a hand in that.
Yeah, I definitely have to like learn how to think in advance. That also goes along with like communicating, though, like learning how to just be prepared and letting people know when you're in need of things. But I think the only thing that I'm just confident in my ability is to be frugal. Like
really are.
I think I could make money go a long way.
You do. Like I have watched that for sure.
The only way I spend my money is if I'm getting food.
Yeah.
I love to eat.
But you know what? Like I like I said, I love that about you, but I also had to do that.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a situation where my parents didn't have money, and I already worked so many years to pay for my dancing, which was so expensive, that I already knew all like everything that my parents had. They were giving me so much and everything that they could.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, like I never wanted to ever ask for lunch money. I never asked to go out with friends. Like even going to a movie, like I remember the theater I would go to was $1 movie on Thursday night. That's what I could afford when I was growing up. It's not bad. I love that that's actually how I grew up. And then when we moved to LA, I mean, you were too little. Like I think I've told you. But when we first moved to LA, obviously I was only 20 years old with you. And I put us on a limit of like $10 to be able to survive every day. And then by the end of the weekend, which would be like, you know, if whatever money I didn't spend during the week on food or activities, we could use a little bit more for an activity, right? But usually when we were living in LA, like we were living on $10 between the two of us for food, and then doing any free activities like going to the local library, we were going to the Grove, like so we were doing all the free activities and all the free museums, and we were totally fine. But like I'm really grateful that that was the way we lived, because I think like as my career has progressed and I have felt I can provide a little more of like a comfortable living for us, I think that you still have that acknowledgement of where money comes from, and just like you're aware of those kinds of things. And I think it makes it really respectful the way you kind of handle it. And then also the way you communicate it now. I think you're just very ultra like aware.
I really am. Even like just stupid things. Like I know I'm bringing up a lot of examples, but like you said going to the movies, like how it used to be $1 for you. Like I go to Cinemark. They have their certain days. I think it's still Thursday where it'll be like what, $8?
Oh,
and
that's
then
so crazy.
I went with a group of people the other day and they wanted to go to AMC Dine-In, and I was like, I'm paying $21 for a ticket and food. What is this? Cinemark gives me the same quality. There may be a rat or two. I just went to see the movie, like I'm good. They got recliner seats sometimes. Like I don't think that I'm that high quality, and I know that we live like a pretty comfortable life, and like I've obviously gone a lot, like been able to experience a lot and go a lot of places, and we've gone to Nobu before, like that's expensive, but when it comes to like everyday things, I'm like, this is not worth my money. Like,
I love that so much. But moving forward, we're going to work on communicating before things get to the ending point, which we're doing. We're already doing, right? But yeah, no, this next year, it's just everything's going to change so drastically. But I'm also like, you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
Because even like the way you communicate things, like you come to me when you need to. You really do. Even like when it comes to when you're having conversations with friends or you're having a hard time with friends, like I do love that you come to me with those things.
Yeah.
And I feel like you come to me about a lot, but I also love that you have friends that you go to as well. So it's not like you're just like only coming to me. Like I think sometimes as like a mom, like I was like, I wish you'd have every conversation with me. But I actually really enjoy that you have other sources that you also rely on, like in a healthy way. And so it's been really cool to see that growth from you. Yeah. I don't know if it was always like that. It kind of seems like it's a new quality for you.
It wasn't always like that. I think right now I've surrounded myself with really good quality friendships that give me the space to feel comfortable to do that. And so I think finding your friends that like understand how you communicate and really take time to invest in you and your relationship it really benefits both people. And I think both of us, like, yeah, we talk a lot, but we do have our, like, the people we go to. So it's not like not always having the same conversations and relapsing with the same things with you. And it's like we get different perspectives and all that stuff. And I think being able to communicate, obviously not put your business out there to everybody, but I really like how I'm able to have those separate people that understand me and like give me different insights.
I feel like I'm still on my way of finding that, even with my closest friends. Like the people that I consider my best friends, I have only really started opening up to them about dark times or hard times or daily emotions that I'm feeling, like very recently, like this last year. Like it was always really hard for me. I feel like I have a lot of, you know, like I have like a small unit of like my best friends, and then I have a lot of other friends too that like kind of come from like different walks and different spaces of my life. But I kind of feel like because of that, I've kind of always felt like I needed to protect everyone else because it's for whatever reason, it's just my personality type that like I've never just like burdened like even just like one or two of my friends with just like, this is my life, like, and you're my best friend, but like I've never really been like word vomited just like how I'm feeling to any of them. And I'm not really sure why I haven't done that. So it's like something like, I mean, no one wants to be word vomited on, but like, you know what I'm saying, where like I've never just been like, today was a hard day and this is why. Like I have a really hard time doing that with people I love, and it's because of the burdening them with so much. And I'm like, I know I'm going through so much and they're probably going through so much, so I'm just gonna come in and like check on them and make sure they're good. And a lot of them come to me with their stuff, and I'd rather be that. So I'm trying to learn that it's okay to say, like, think of this. I never say I'm having a hard day. Like ever. Like, how are you? I'm great. Always. Like even on the hardest days. So I'm really learning that it's okay to be honest with people of like, today was really hard. I don't need to harp on it, but like it was hard because of this, this, and this. Like that to me is like something I'm like trying to work on with people. And I actually learned something really, really beautiful. And I think it can kind of go into like our relationship, but also other relationships. My personality type, I'm a fixer and a solution-based person for myself and others, right? And I found that with you as kind of like a problem, right? Like anytime you came to me, I was always like kind of fix it for you. And same for me, the reason I don't burden other people or talk to them necessarily about my emotions because I'm just going to fix it. And then I'll come to you once I have, right? Like I'll tell you what the solution was I found, but I'm not going to burden you with the problem. By doing that, I've stripped all my loved ones of the opportunity of growth. Like with me. And I was just like, wow, that really like touched me to learn that like by not sharing those most vulnerable moments with people, there's almost this wall that they can't get that close with me. Right. And so I'm taking that opportunity for us to grow in our relationship by me just always being like, oh, I'll be okay. You know? And then between us, like me just trying to fix you, I'm stripping you of the opportunity to fix yourself. Right, by not just listening. So it's like I've learned that to me has been like a huge lesson that's helped me over this last year to really grow on those like relationships of like, okay, I can open up that side of me to like grow closer with everyone else. And it's been like a big help for me, for sure.
I think it definitely does make a difference. Right now, like who I consider to be my best friend, like we live, breathe, and feel the same thing. Like if I'm having a hard day, like I'm gonna say it, and I feel like it's the same with you. Like after school, I'll come home and I'll just be like, I failed that, and I'm mad because of it. I'll sit there and I'll cry, or I'll just like go quiet. It's whatever, but like I feel like I'm gonna say it at least once or twice, and then I get over it. But like I definitely need to like come home, say it to like the closest people to me, and then I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'm fine. I don't know, because I'm somebody like, once you're in my circle and I value you, I hold people very close to my heart. And I feel like if you're one of those people in my life, like I want that connection with you. I love deep connections. And I feel like I'm very good about making sure that you feel that little soul tie. Like,
but it's because you are so specific as far as allowing people in.
I'm very
like, because you're so protective of your energy that I think that people know that about you. So when you are like in almost that world or that circle and you do open up, it's like it touches people, because people are like, oh, she doesn't do this a lot. She's really protective of her energy.
Yeah.
And you also allow other people to open up to you as well, that it does grow like really, really strong bonds with people.
I feel like a lot of people come to us about stuff, but since I'm very selective, like it's easier for me to build those like very close connections because I don't give my energy to a lot of people, like you just said. But you're very like, I want to hug everybody, I want to love everybody, and then they don't like hear your side because you're already giving your all, like emotionally, which like I don't give that. Like,
but
and
it's
like,
good, but both sides are positive, and both sides also have like the negative too. Like, does it?
For sure.
Not either one of those is right or wrong. You know,
because you're just seen as a huggly. What's it? Huggy
wuggy?
No.
Huggy wuggy's scary.
Huggy wuggy is Maddox's and Zaya's thing. I was just gonna say like a snuggly, like loving, like whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, and I'm seen as very like, you have to like reach that level. You got to earn it with me.
No, that's true. But the thing is like, I just feel blessed because I get to be on the warm side. Like, I see that little
okay, well, you're
like,
my mom. Like,
I get to see the Wesley Snuggle Bunny side. It is good that we are different, but I think also the way we communicate it, we're so aware. Because, like, I don't know if, like, a lot of people look at your signs as having to be a personality trait or whatever, but, like, I am an Aquarius, and I think I am, like, true and tried an Aquarius, and you are a Gemini, and I would say that you are a true and tried
if you guys
Gemini.
If you guys need to know anything about my mother, my X chromosome provider, you must know she's the most horoscope rock, look at the stars, the moon's in retrograde girl. Like, you know how many times I've come home and she's been like, there's gonna be a full moon tonight, you better get out your journal and just write what you want your goals to be and all that stuff. She's
depending on the moon, because some of them we don't want to do that, you know, but there are, for most full moons, I like to write out my goals, you know, I like to meditate, I like to manifest, and then you have to burn it and let it go. Also, side note, Wesley's school counselor definitely thinks I'm a witch.
Oh my gosh.
Like, when I don't remember what you said to him, but she definitely brought up the I love affirmations.
No.
What did you say to him?
I said, this episode contains of a lot of stories. Okay. I mean, we're just communicating like past memories, whatever. Basically, I used to have to see my counselor a lot, and we would just like talk, and I would have like group meetings, whatever. Somehow he was like, I think he was just complimenting me. He was like, oh, I like your name. I was like, oh, thanks, my mom named me. And then he was like, oh, like, how'd she think of that? I was like, well, it's Wesley, but like, you know, it's like, it's not something crazy. But I was like, yeah, I named myself in her dream. And he was he was like, what? I was like, yeah, my mom says that I came to her in her dream and I told her my name. He was like, your mom believes that? I was like, yeah, she like saw me before she was even pregnant, and she just knew that I was a girl, and like
it's all true, I'm telling you.
And then he was like,
it's true.
He was like, oh.
But then it wasn't the very next time, but it was one of the other times you're like, oh yeah, my mom told me to like write out my goals and burn it in the fire. You said something like that about your goals, and I was like, okay, Wesley, now he just thinks I am a crazy lunatic.
No, because after the first time, it was just funny. Like, I like messing with people's minds a little bit. And it was just, because I see where he's coming from. Like, if I didn't know you, I would think you're a little weird too. I think I said something like, my mom said like to go sit outside, and she had her little incense and stuff. I don't know, but he was for sure like big-eyed and like,
I don't mind being considered a little weird. I'm not fully weird. A little weird's healthy.
The dreams are a little okay.
Yeah, no,
we're both like that though.
Yeah. I've had a lot of dreams come true or like speak to me. I've had like a lot of messages, not even necessarily just at night, like during the day. I had seen you. I had also seen Maddox.
She thinks she's a psychic. No, but honestly, like every time you tell me your dream and stuff, it's like, like it makes a lot of sense. My dreams do sometimes, but I feel yours is more like constant.
They're not frequent in like how like often it happens, but like I've had them throughout my whole life, and a lot of them have come true and very specific. I don't have like typical dreams or like, oh, something happened and I forget. It's like, these dreams are like, I see people, I have conversations.
Yeah.
It's only happened once, but I like fully controlled a dream. And that was when I woke up and I was like, that was amazing. you know, but like, yeah, I do have some weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, now your teacher thinks, or your counselor thinks I'm a little witchy.
It's okay.
But I will say, if we're going to go there, I fully believe about writing goals, writing them under the full moon. You can't just write it. You have to like see it and visualize it and feel it. Like you have to feel the moment of whatever and like thing you're trying to get to. You have to be there, present in the moment. What does it feel like? Who are you around? What does it smell like? Oh my gosh, you have to fully transform the space and see it, and it comes true.
Okay, side note, off of that, I know you're very like, you know, spiritual, girly, guru, whatever. Yeah. Do I look like I hug trees and hold crystals in my bag?
Girl, because you are?
No. Because everyone, I'm not even joking, says I look like a hippie. Or that I'm emo. So, like, pick between the two. But literally, like, they call me Crystal Girl at school. And I'm sorry, but I'm not.
I can see it. I could see it. I can see it, but I think it's great. It's like an aesthetic. It's a look. It's like, It's the mixed metal jewelry. It's the layering of the jewelry. It's the way you dress. It's a lot of, it's your aura. It's your vibe. You look, do you know what it is though? I'm gonna even go, it's because you look like you're knowledgeable, like you look like you're connected and understanding and conversing with the universe. Like you give that vibe. You do. And I would like to say you're welcome. I don't know. Because like
I keep getting told that at school and I'm like, guys, I swear, stop, please.
Why is that bad to be considered?
No, it's not a bad thing, but it's like
it's just not
it's like the stereotypicalization of it. It's like my generation, it's very like, you know how it was when like COVID happened and it was very like everyone had their phases.
Oh yeah, during COVID,
feel like
everyone
every time
had
somebody
phases
calls
during
me that,
COVID.
I think back to those and I'm like, why would you put me in that category? Yeah. Stop it.
See, but I've never, I've tried learning about, this is kind of going off cusp a little bit, but like I tried learning a little bit about crystals. It was too much for me to learn. So I don't really know much about crystals or anything like that.
I unfortunately do.
Do you really?
I'm fitting the.
Wait. Okay,
and I do carry a couple of rocks in my bag, but it's not the point.
Okay, so then you are a crystal girl, so that's why people vibe
No. But I could be, but I shouldn't give that. It's like the point is like I could know that I am, but like I can't.
You're fully giving energy
I
because
can't
you
give
are.
that off. Like I can't give that off. Like please.
That's funny. I didn't even know you carried them. I know, because like I think what's really beautiful about crystals though is we receive a lot of gifts from people of them. So I really do treasure them. I just don't know much about it, but I do have some. I actually have some on my nightstand.
You do?
I'm not familiar with like necessarily what exactly each one of them do, but I wouldn't have called you a crystal girly, but you do give like those vibes.
I have a large tiger's eye and rose quartz in my bag. If you were wondering what I carry with me.
I love that you just told me that.
You're welcome. Be enlightened.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
We're off topic.
I know, we are off topic. Wait, hold on. Wait. I did want to talk still about communicating, though, because I think it's like something that we do, and a lot of people have asked tons of questions. So this has been, talking about these crystals is amazing, but I want to pull it back. I know for me and you, we are very, we're talking about how different we are when we communicate, but we've found our way together through it. Like, we've found a great way of working with each other's opposite ways of communicating, and it seems to work for us. But we also always do it in person. We are very in-person communicators. Neither of us really, I don't think, it might be really interesting for people to learn about us. We're not huge people that, like, as far as even like a mom-daughter duo, like, I don't call you all the time.
Yeah.
I don't text with you like a lot of people are texting with their kids. Once you're kind of away, I kind of give you that space, but then when we come back together, we like talk about pretty much anything and everything. So sometimes it's almost like we're kind of like
catching up
and like pouring everything into each other because we haven't communicated that deeply for a couple of days. But it's like, I think when it comes to our style, we don't check in all day of every day. It's more of every couple of days. But do you like that style?
I love that. I love it so much. I feel like it's overbearing if you were to text me a lot. And it's like, I'm not calling you a helicopter mom. Like, you're not that in the slightest. Because even you went to San Clemente this weekend. And you were texting me multiple times a day. And I was like, what is going on?
I did have a lot of questions for you this weekend.
You literally did. And I was like... And then you called me one time and you were like, can you answer my text? And I was like, I mean, yeah, but like... who are you? Like,
we don't usually do that.
I was really like, I mean, I can, but like, I didn't know that you'd be worried about that, because there'd be like days where you'll be like in Utah visiting family, and then I'll be here. Like, I don't try to miss a lot of school, so we're like separate sometimes. And then I just like, we don't talk the whole time you're out there, and you come back and I'm like, guess what happened?
Yeah.
I prefer that. I really like that, because I don't think I need a lot of attention. I don't need that constant communication. Like, we communicate well afterwards, but we take breaks, and I feel like it's almost like we recharge and then come back. I think it's beneficial to the both of us, but I know a lot of other people can't do that.
Yeah.
Like with my friends, like there's some friends that I know that I have to text more often and like, ask to hang out so they can get my energy that way. And there's some texts like people that I can like call or text every once in a while, or just never talk to again. And it's like, but that's my girl though. So it depends.
Yeah, I feel like for us it works really, really well, because like I always make sure every day, like at some point, to like check in, like, hey, you good?
Yeah.
And if you need me, that's kind of like an invitation. But like, if I don't hear from you, I also don't take offense.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes parents or like even friends might be like, oh, that this person doesn't care.
Yeah.
But for me, I think we're so similar that like, if you don't, I just know it's because you're good.
Yeah.
And then if you need me, or if
I'll
you have
text
something to talk,
Yeah.
you would get back to me, you know? So I never take offense. And I think that's also why it works between us, because vice versa too. If you ever reached out to me and I didn't get back to you right away, it's never like we never do like the whole like reactive, like she doesn't love me or she doesn't. It's like we're very like, oh, they're doing their thing. And then we check in.
Yeah.
And if it felt like it had to happen, we'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry to get back to you right away, was because of this. Like,
I feel like
we're good at that.
The only times I really text you back is if it like, one, I see that like your notifications have gone on for a while and I haven't responded so many times. I'm like, let me respond now. Like, I seem a little rude. Or if you have a question, like if it's like a matter that like we know we should talk about right now, or like just like a simple like, hey, look at this, go do this, like we do it. But there's no need for unnecessary banter.
There's plenty of times you or I like send like an Instagram video or a TikTok video, and it's like I don't feel the need to
look
ever.
at it, but
I don't feel the need to respond or have a response. I never get offended.
We telepathically are like, that was funny, I laughed at it.
Honestly, sometimes I prefer I don't get your response on them, because I think it's funny, and if you shut me down, I'd feel bad.
I know.
So sometimes when I send you stuff, I'm like, this could not be funny to her, but I love that you don't say it's not funny, Mom. So I'm like, I won the day.
No, today she sent me a video of a mom and daughter working out together, and I was like, you think this is us?
No, I wasn't saying it was us. I want her to be a guest here.
Oh,
because it's a mom and daughter.
That was unclear to me.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a time you should have asked questions.
I thought she was saying we need to go to the gym immediately. Like, okay.
No, I sent you videos. I'm like, oh, they'd be so cute, because they work out together. They're like a cool mom and daughter situation.
I had no idea.
Well, now you know. See, we're communicating it. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. No, I like that about us though. So I would say we text, we call every once in a while, but really we're in person people, and I like that.
I think that's how it should be though. That's the healthiest way to communicate, because a lot of things over text or call could be read wrong or received wrong, because you're not seeing the people's body, facial expression, stuff like that. And I think that's important to me, at least.
With friends, like, I know for me, because like I'm trying to be better about texting, like at least for like with friends and family. You and I understand it. For like other people I'm trying to be a lot more cognizant about like quicker responses and being better at that, because that is something I've always flopped the bag on. And I used to I genuinely keep myself so busy. So a lot of the times, because I'm like, I have my head in so many different things, I have my hand in so many different projects all the time. But sometimes if I could just be better at responding the moment I see it.
Yeah.
Because my problem is sometimes when I see like a text message from someone, especially if it's one that has like big questions or someone I haven't heard from in a while, I actually want to give them proper energy. So I don't want to just be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like I'd rather be like, oh my gosh, so happy to hear from you, blah, 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 blah.
But then I don't, yeah.
So it's like the problem is like I have to like let go of like having a perfect response and just respond. Because any response at that point is way better for me to do. So I'm trying to be better with that.
I totally agree.
And I think it has gone a long way for like a lot of my friends and family, and they've seen the difference in me with it. But do you think for your generation, like, I know for me, I haven't quite started to do it, but I have sometimes like friends that like if they can't get back to me right away, they just heart emoji it. I never do that, but like for your generation, like is that like a way of just being like, I see it and I'll get back to you in a second? Like, do you guys use it in the same way?
I think my generation's very good about like, if they don't feel the need to respond to it, like, or if it's not like, because when like a conversation like doesn't die because people feel like they have to be the last one to respond or like stuff like that.
Yes.
We don't do that.
We don't do that, yeah.
If I sent something and they respond back, then I heart it because it's like we're closing the conversation.
Got it.
That's
Okay.
the only time though, I think. No need for the back and forth.
Okay.
Oh, so long.
Because I feel like I have a couple of friends, and it's totally fine, but we heart emoji everything. We should be like, maybe it's because it's like we're just old. We shouldn't do that anymore. Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
I'm going to talk to my friends about
I feel
that.
like people my age, we at least say a little something. Because I feel like also older people, they text more formally. We text very informally. Mm-hmm. Literally, I could have like a sentence that's like this short, but it's really like a paragraph, but it's like so condensed. And they just get it.
Do you ever think that there was a time that I've just like pushed too hard when it comes to communicating with you?
Yeah, I think so. But I feel like that's also normal. So I'm not going to like hold it against you or blame you. And I also know I take like an abnormally long time to come to you about conversations, which is probably annoying, I assume, like, or just very like frustrating to have to wait so long. Because I tried not to like have a conversation, speak out of emotion and regret that. So I think there are times that you're like, we just need to deal with this now. Or it's like a matter that you're like, if we just handle this immediately, like it won't be that big of a deal. But to me, it's like, I feel like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's normal. I know that if I asked you the same thing, you'd be like, do I push you to have conversation?
I'll say this. So it's interesting because I think one of the reasons why I've worked so hard on our communication skills is because, and when I say this, like also everyone watching and like for like you already know, like I'm so close to my mom. Me and my mom have come such a far way and we're so close now. We communicate really, really well together. But I was not like that with her when I was a teenager. Right? I grew up in a household where my mom and I had very, very different views on how to live, the way in which things were said and communicated. We were just complete opposites, but we weren't working together on trying to figure out what worked at that time.
Yeah.
I was probably just too young and naive to really like give my mom the proper like respect levels at that age. And then like my mom, being the mom, was more of like I'm the adult, so I have the stronghold in the room. We just never really like saw eye to eye and never really worked on that communication when I was a teenager. We've worked now on it, but that was really important to me. Is like I feel like I never really went to my mother at that time in my life in a way. When I had questions, I never went to her like base level questions about growth, questions about my body, questions about relationships or friendships or just like anything. I never went to her. She wasn't the person I felt like I could for like a good conversation. So that was something that was like really, really important to build with you because I didn't have it. It can be found at any time. I don't think there's no right or wrong way of like when it has to happen. Like I said, like me and my mom now, like, my mom's 75. And we now, the last couple of years, have this like really, really beautiful relationship where she comes to me now about stuff that she never felt comfortable going to her mom about. So it's kind of these ways, like, generationally, like you learn the ways from your parents and they've learned from someone else and they've learned from their atmospheres and they've learned from their spaces that they were in. So it's not necessarily right or wrong, but it's just like at any time in any space, you can start to work on it with those people. And so it's cool that I think we just put a lot of energy in it now so we can utilize it through like our whole lives, and like in your next generation too, you'll have that ability as well.
I think you kind of mentioned this, but inevitably there's some power imbalance between the dynamic of us being like a mother and daughter, and there's some things that like if you say something and I disagree, there's sometimes that I know that I'm just like I just need to stop. Like I'm her daughter in this situation. Even if I disagree with your point, I'm gonna be like, if this is how she feels, like I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know that you have a role that you have to play and I have a role that I'm set in. And so you did that like very passively with your mom. If I feel a way, it usually like we'll probably address it later and I'll be fine in a later conversation, but it won't be like a deep conversation. It would just be like I get that like reassurance that I need through like casual conversation. Yeah. But like seeing that with your mom's very like we're all very different. Like,
we're all very
different.
I
don't know how to explain it, but like there's sometimes we make jokes, we go back and forth, and like grandma will be sitting there in the corner. She's like,
Really
Like
uncomfortable.
she's really uncomfortable.
Because
and
we talk about a lot and everything.
We think it's so funny to make her uncomfortable, unfortunately. But we've been the ones to break her out of like her
her shell.
Her shell.
Yeah.
And I think we do that to each other too in different ways, even though we're very like rambunctious with each other.
Yeah.
But like
I love the word choice right now. It's
What can
fantastic
I
and very
say?
spot on.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you saying that though, because just you being, you're only 16 and being aware that like at the end of the day, I am the mother and you are the daughter. Just that little bit of respect goes really far. So I feel like what I've always tried to do for you on that same regard from the opposite side is I've always tried to teach you and show you that like, yes, I am the mom and you're my daughter. So there is that like dynamic. I've always wanted you to know I'm always a student of life though. And I'm not always right. And I don't always know. And I don't always have a solution. Even if I try to convince you I do or that I am right. Like I know that I'm a student of life and I'm just figuring things out at the same time you are. Because even though I might have experienced already what you have, that doesn't necessarily mean I made the right choices through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I think I always try to show you that, yes, I'm your mom. And I have gone through a lot. And I've made a lot of really, what I would say would be wise choices. But I don't necessarily think that everything I've done has been right or wrong.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted you to know that I'm at your side as like your champion, cheering you on. But I'm still also over here making mistakes, trying to figure it out alongside. I think that always has helped our relationship too. Being that, yes, I'm the mother and you're the daughter. But like I always say it, I am a student of life.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, I try my best to be honest with you and be like, hey, let's figure this out together. Let's look something up and try to find a solution together. But I think that's always helped our dynamic too.
Because I don't think there's been many instances where I feel like I've been shut down by anything that I bring up to you. Like I think in our relationship, like I feel like I have a voice, which is very different than a lot of people that I know. You know how people say like respect your elders and like, your parents, people might disagree. But I feel like respect is earned on both parts and like I'm not obligated to respect anybody. But at the end of the day, like I think the way that we have put so much effort into each other and we do communicate and we do try to understand each other, that like you have my respect and like I like understand that as your daughter, like you've done your part in your work for that. And so I think that's a big thing about communication. It makes things so much more easy when you do have that respect and understanding.
Yeah. Well, because you're allowing that space now and to hear the other person,
Yeah.
right? Because we keep talking even about communicating. So like, thank you for all that even you said. And I agree, in a lot of ways I agree. But I think with communicating, you also have to be willing to hear that person because you can talk and communicate. But like, if you're not hearing and taking and digesting the other person's thoughts, it's not going to go anywhere or change.
sure.
So I think that's kind of what, you're saying, which I really appreciate hearing. And I hope I do the same for you. It's like we communicate, but then we also like understand and try to embrace what each other have said. You know what I mean? And fully hear each other. So I love that. Well, I love you. Aww. This has been really nice. Like, for real, like, hearing all this and, like, I hope it resonates with other people because it hasn't always been this for us. But, like, I think we really have built something I think is really, really beautiful and I'll always treasure. And I'm always going to make sure that the work I've put in with you, I also want to make sure I do with Maddox and Zaya. And I feel like it's going to be a little bit different with them.
Yeah.
But I also love that we have this relationship so tight that I hope that they also build what we have with you individually as well. And I think that's just going to be a really beautiful family dynamic that we'll always have. Wes, I think both of us should give one piece of advice when it comes to communicating. And I'll kind of go more from like the parent side, and I think it'd be cool for you for like a teenage side, so like a parent. I think for me, one piece of advice I give parents in communicating with their teenagers, female or male, I would say allowing your walls to come down of being a parent and thinking you're always right. Allowing the kid the space to work it out and communicate fully before you have a response. Because I think sometimes as a parent, we're so quick to be like, I've been through this, I know, and I have an answer, and I have a solution. We try to force feed it to sometimes the kids or the teenagers, where then they lock up and then they feel like they are wrong or they didn't get their full message across or they don't feel heard. And so I feel like before you say anything, allow them the full space to express themselves and don't make them feel bad or wrong for it. Just allow them the freedom to speak it fully to its full truth and then engage with them on it on like a more like even playing field.
I'd say to one, listen and not be so quick to be argumentative back and quick to respond, really process, and then try to be empathetic and understanding to that material instead of letting it go in one ear and out the other. And then through that, being able to rebuttal with undeniable points of how you feel and how that's in connection to the other person, instead of just throwing out unnecessary back and forth jabs at each other. I think that's most important.
I like that. I'm going to kind of like, even with both of the things that we were just saying, this is kind of an interesting take on it, but when you're communicating with someone, be present in it. And not just in the beautiful conversations, but also in the lower conversations, the more, angry conversations, the arguments. Be present in it, because sometimes as a parent, I think we have so much to take care of. We have so many things to get to and to go to that we're trying to quickly get out of the conversation as quickly as we fell into it, instead of like actually giving it the time and the space that it deserves to be fully heard. Because just like being present in the moment for like, this is a great moment that we're celebrating, you have to give just as much time for those conversations to have a full relationship. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Between Us with Allison and Weslie. This was a really, really fun one. I love you.
Yeah.
And if you guys also want to send in any comments or any questions you have after watching this episode, or anything you'd like to see in a future episode, please write it in. Email us at thebetweenusshow@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you. And make sure you guys like and heart this video, and stay tuned for more, and we'll see you guys next Sunday.
This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.